All right. Hi, everyone. Uh, let me welcome you guys to the conversation. Hi, everyone. Happy new week. It's good to be back. It's good for us to be back, and it's good for us to be back, and we are having fun. So this is week two. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So of our 30 days of Python programming language. And we spent last week, you know, stay just learning a lot on it. And today we're going to continue what we are learning, we're going to build more on it. And for me, I'm so excited you know, to kick start this week with a wonderful topic. But first of all, I want to talk about the assignment. So I saw what was posted on the I saw it was posted on the group chat on the Slack channel, and I want to say that um, you know, we can give you resources like the message says. You have resources for free. You can always come to the YouTube channel to watch. You you have to understand that um, um, I think there was a quote I wanted to share. It was in my mind. Before this class, I had that quote in my mind and I wanted to share it. But what I would say is that if if you decide not to be serious with the opportunities that you get, you tend to open yourself to lots of regrets. Understand? You tend to say, "Ha, I had the opportunity to do this thing, or I did not do it," and all of that. So if you are that person who is always watching this tutorial and you are not being part of the assignment, you don't do your assessment, and you don't care, you don't bother, you just like as long as I come here, I can come and learn, and continue with my life. You are not doing yourself good. Okay, you are not doing yourself good. And at the end of the training, when the training is over, tell yourself, what do you get extra? Okay, what do you get extra? What can you say you've gotten extra? And let me tell you something. As a facilitator and as a key person in PEEP community, I know people who are actively participating in a training, and those persons, whether you like it or not, sometimes they tend to get more, shall I say, I don't want to say listening here, but I want to say they tend to get more opportunity to maybe send a message. I could get to interact. You can get to interact a lot if you are somebody that is very, very active in the community. You can't be active in the community and we are not talking. Okay. So you get to talk a lot. So you tend to open yourself in a position where you can grow under a well supervised knowledge, under you know and with somebody you feel like on the one to one, I might not be able to see this person, but because of your activeness in what you are doing, you get to learn a lot. And also you get to be in that position where I always tell tell everybody in the community. I always say you get to be in that position where you might not have that opportunity to get to a place where you get gigs and all of that because maybe you're just starting, and I might be in that space many. I'm in that space many times. You understand? So sometimes I'm looking for like who will do this thing for me. All right, I'm in that phase of who will do this for me, and then immediately I get to say, oh, this person is very active in this. Can you get this person involved? So I always like to bring everybody to be involved in the community. But once you are being part of the community, you have to ensure that you are consistent and you're just doing your stuff. So I hope these 5 minutes of our time was able to just help you understand that hey, you have to be very serious with what we are doing. And I don't joke with assessment. I don't like teaching and people are not doing my assessment. If you're not doing my assessment, you you're not helping yourself and you're not even helping me to teach you more. All right, I'll just take that you guys are not serious. So I'll just do my thing. But well, nevertheless, I'm going to do my best to teach you because that's who I am as a teacher. I just want everybody to understand and flow. So assessment one was awesome and it was very, very, very challenging. Yes, that's the goal, so that you can get to research and learn and practice everything you've learned all through the week. So if you think that assessment one was very, very tedious and assessment two will be less tedious, that's a joke. Okay, so expect something more tedious than what you just did because this week we're going to cover a lot of topic. So it keeps it keeps growing. And not just that when we do a topic this week, we'll just do assessment based on that topic. No. Every assessment you're going to be doing is going to be a collective, it's going to be a collection of what you've learned from the beginning. So you're not just writing a code and you're saying because we did this, this is the when I'm writing the code, this is what should come out. No. You're going to be doing the previous. Everything is involved in it. All right. So we've used 6 minutes of our time to solve some stuff. So I welcome you guys again. Good evening to everybody saying good evening to me. And let's go. So people that I know about in this cohort, I can just call a few. I know about definitely I know about Gloria. Gloria is our class captain. I know about Wisdom. I know Flora. I know Daniel. I know Evis. I know Susan. There's this person called Chukwuemeka. I've not seen that person right now. Um, and I think, yeah, I've seen Christina before. I've seen this Joy Sunday. I know this Joy Sunday very, very well. So special shout out to Joy. Okay. So, yeah, I know Francis. I've seen Francis. Suzanne, yeah, of course, Suzanne, Flora, Josh, just saying, Josh, okay. All right, fine. Let's go ahead, guys. So I'll be. Let me put this on. I don't know to. I want to be seeing your comments, but I'll be checking it later. So let me just go ahead with my screen. I know you guys can see my screen, right? So let me just confirm again. Confirm if you can see my screen. So I guess you can see my screen, and that's awesome. That's awesome. So let's go. So today we'll be talking about. I'm going to make my screen a little bit bold. Yeah, we'll be talking about. Let me see. Let's kernel. Which kernel did I select just now? Okay, okay. So we'll talk about data structures. Now, data structures are one of the ways to which we also handle data in Python. So literally, you've seen us talk about integer, string, float. I've called string before. Which other one have I not called? Boolean. Okay. So those are different data types. But remember, I said everything in Python is an object. So don't forget that. But Python has a normal, there's also an extensive ways of handling data in Python. We call Python, and we call them data structures. So the more you go, the more you understand different stuff. For example, now we have array and things like frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch. These things are built on Python basic. How do I say Python basic code? There's a normal traditional Python basic code like what Python used. For example, NumPy is built on normal. It has a structure of like Python list, but it's built with an integration of C programming language. So it's very, very fast, faster than normal Python object list. Okay. So so we have our data structure there, and I'll talk about what is a list. We're going to look at in a data structure. We're going to look at what is a list. We're going to look at tuples. We're going to look at dictionary. We're going to look at set. So I think I might want to. I don't know, depending on how it goes, but one might come before. But we're going to start. I mean, dictionary or set. One might come before. But the first place to be safe to start from is to start from a list. Okay, if you understand the list, fine and good, you'll be able to understand others as we progress. So, what is a list? A list simply, like we're seeing on our screen, it's a collection of values that can be of the same data type or not. A collection of values that can be of the same data type or not. Then the next point is that a list is mutable. The items can be modified or changed. So, two things you need to put in mind. A list is a collection. So when we say collection, it means that it's more like a container. All right. Um, I think this is where I will draw. I will draw. Maybe I've not got to that point, but I'm going to draw. So, giving an example of let me spend my time to draw. So just give me a minute. Let me spend my time to draw. I think if I draw, I will understand better. Or you guys will understand better. I say I understand better. So let me draw. Let me find. I should have sketch. Should have drawn. I should have made this thing open since I didn't think about it. So I have to now do it now. Online sketch. Online sketch. Yep, I've seen it. No, not this online sketch I'm looking for. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm still looking for. Okay. I think I've seen it. Yep, I've seen what I'm looking for. Fantastic. So let me share that part of the screen. Let me just share my entire screen. Should I just share my entire screen? Yep. Let me share my entire screen so that I can be able to move from one place to another. Just a minute, guys, a minute. So we'll go to this. Follow me. We have a lot today to learn. So I'll stop presenting because I want to share my entire screen. I don't want to be jumping from one place to another as I sketch. So, um, so can you see my screen? Let me check my phone to see you guys comments. I guess you can see my screen because I know it's visible. So let's go ahead. Let me create a new let me create a new file. Let's put on a black stuff. Oh wait, you can't see my screen yet. Okay. Um just a minute guys, sorry. I've not added it to the stage. Now can you see my screen now? I guess you can see my screen now. Awesome. Okay, fantastic. So let me sketch something that looks like a list for us. So we are conversant with let's say let's take a container for example. So I'm going to draw a container. Okay, let's say this is a container. Okay, just draw a container. Okay, on a vertical zone. So this is a file. So we have things like this. Now just draw. So if we're going to put if we're going to put something inside this container now, we're going to put something inside it. So what we're going to put, let's say we are bringing a letter. If we bring, um, let's say the first letter we bring is cis. If we put in cis inside there, it's going to go to the bottom, right? So cis will come to this place. Okay. So if we put another one, let's say we put 10, it comes to this place. We put 20, it comes to this place. We could put 5, comes to this place. We could put 3, We could put 4, and we could put, let's say we put 8 here. So on an horizontal, this is vertical, right? This is in a vertical position. I think, yeah. So on, in landscape, so what our value is like something like this. Let me go down and write it. Our value is like 6, comma, 10. So let me put something like 5.5. Okay, I want to do 5.5 so that you know that a list can take multiple because what we read is that it can take different amount of different value, the same value or different value type. All right. Okay, so this could be a string. Let's put it in quotes so that you know that 4 is a string. Okay, so this is a string, for example. So if I do comma, I will have 20. I'll do comma. I have my 5.5. So you could see the way it's coming, comma. Don't mind my right up is going. This is where I need pen. So my 4. Oh my god. And then lastly 8. Oh, that was great. So given the fact that now we have done this, we have achieved this. So this was the first item, this was the second item, this is the third item. So if we want to list it by the number of items that came in, we say this is first by position, this is second, this is third, this is fourth, this is the fifth or sixth, this is sixth, this is seven. So the length of our list is 7. The length of our list, that's the length, is 7. Are we still together? So the length of our list is 7. Then, just a minute. So the length of our list is 7. So the next thing we need to check is what is index. The next thing I need to teach you guys is what we call index. So index is like a range function that starts from 0. When we are doing range, we say the counting starts from 0. So index starts from 0. So we're going to get something like this. This will be 0. This will be 1. This will be 2. This will be 3. This will be 4. This will be 5. This will be 6. So index, to get the length of an index of a list is simply our length of the list, that's the n number of the list, the total number of the list, minus 1 will give you the maximum length of a list. So, or the maximum index of a list. Okay. Now, index can also be reversed. Index can also be reversed. Okay. So even if as much as we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 6, it means that if I want to get the first item of a list, I will use the index 0. And you mark index like this. These are your mark index. Index is marked like this. Index is put like this. This is how you get the index. The name of the list, you put this your square bracket, open brackets or brackets, and then put the number of the index you want to access. That's how you can get the item list. So if you want to get something like 6, let's say this V here is the name of our list. So if we want to get 6, we'll do something like this: V index 0. This will give us the value of 6 in our list. But again, I said that index can be reversed. Okay, the number of index can be reversed. So in other words, we can still reverse this thing as this. Look at what I want to do. I'll do this. It can be also be minus one because we are starting from the last item. So the last item is always minus one. This is minus two. This is minus three. This is minus four. This is minus five. This is minus six. And this is minus seven. Fantastic. So minus one, minus two, minus three, minus four, minus seven. So if you want to get the item here again, to now be V minus 7. That will give us 6. So this is equal to, this will give us 6, and this will also give us 6. Okay, fantastic. We're adding somewhere. Okay, but one thing to note is that in a list, to get the last item is always minus 1. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that if peradventure we add another item to this list now, let's say we had a boolean called true. Okay. U A. Okay. Let's say we add a boolean called true. Automatically, the counting from here will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one will not be 8 in terms of position. Always remember this is the position. When you're counting for position, we are saying the position of an item in a list, counting starts from 1. But when you're counting from index, this will not be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here will not be 7 because it's the last item. Now, if you were trying to assess, maybe what you were doing is I always get the last item in a list and give it to the user. If you indexed it before by saying the last item this time was V, our last item this time was V bracket 6, would have given us 8 before. Follow me, oh, I don't know why this 6 is not 6. It would have given us 8 before. All right, but now that we have added a new value, now you can see that 7 is not the last item. So this place, this thing will be wrong. Okay. The only way not to be wrong is that what we change if you another item keep adding is this negative index. This negative index will update. Instead of minus 1 coming here, minus 1 will now go to this place. This one place will now be minus 1. This place will now be minus 2. You see, it's changing. 3. This way, just the same way this way is updating upwards. So minus 1 is this minus sign is always up, is updating downwards. So this will be 4, this will be 5, this will be 6, this will be 7, and the last one will be 8. Sorry, I'm writing on top of it, but I just want you to understand what I'm saying. Okay, so that's how it will be negative. So in this case now, 0 v underscore 0 will always give us 6, but v underscore minus 7 will not give us 6 again. It will not give us the last number again. It's going to give us something. It's going to give us 10. It's going to give us 10. So that is the see, with this thing that I've just explained, there is nothing in this that will be very difficult for you. You just know what you need to do now. As long as you know how to assess the value, you know, okay, the logic behind it, how it changes, and all of that. Then another thing I need to explain is that we can iterate in a list. We can loop through a list. We can loop through. How can we loop through in a list? Because we can get the total number. Remember when we were doing a range function, I told you that we can even loop through a string because we can get the length. A string is a sequence. So list is also a collection. And anything that is a collection is a sequence. So because it's a sequence, we can loop through, meaning we can write a program to loop through inside this list and pick any value that we have inside. Or we can even write programs that it will look through this list, it will pick the value and run a condition. Let's say we want to just select items that are greater than 4, for example. So it will go inside this list. Um, this one is true, so it might not work because we're looking for something that is greater than 4. But even as much as we say that a list can contain different data types, you hardly see usage of list where it contains different data type. You hardly. And if you are going to do data science or data analysis with Python, you need to understand the concept of a list, because a list is what we call you call I can say a list um, is a collection of data entry, okay, in a table. That's a just is a basic stuff to just say okay, this is it. This is a collection. So you might not understand more to once you give your time to it, but yeah, that is it. So that being said, I think we can go back to our training. I think I've spent like up to about 15 minutes explaining what this is. So it will be very easy for me now to explain all of the code. So you can look through a list. Let me just for me still explain a tuple. Tuple is the same thing as this, but the difference between tuple is that if you create it, you cannot add, you cannot remove. In this list now, we can remove value. Let's say we want to change the value of three now. We'll find the index. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can say in this place that our v, all right, our v4, okay, is equal to, if I say it's equal to, let's say 30, for example, or let's say 32, it will update whatever you have in this index to 32. So in other words, we can modify the values inside a list using the index. Okay, why you can do this on a list, you cannot do it on a tuple. That's just the difference. Tuple, once you create it, it stays like that. But you can also one thing I also need to tell you. There's always one thing to tell. I don't know. This one thing does not finish. Another thing I need to tell you is that you can also have a list inside a list. You can have a tuple inside a list. You can even have a dictionary inside a list. You understand? Because a list is a collection of data values. You can even have when we do dictionary, you can even have a dictionary inside a dictionary inside a list inside a dictionary. It can just be vice versa. The only place that it doesn't come common is in a tuple, because tuple you don't change it. So between list and dictionary, you can have any of them inside. Okay. So I think with this viewpoint of mine, I've set you guys for data structure. You don't need to have issues again with data structure. So yeah, we'll just go ahead now to our code. So let me go to my VS Code. Okay. So Grace said well understood, so that's fine. So my VS Code now, we're going to start. So give an example, like you already know this one. I've explained this thing already with the reason of that diagram. That let's say you have 10 students and GSS2. So you want to save the 10 students age. So you put 5, 7, 9, 6. So this is the container, and we are saving it inside age. The same thing is their name: John, Cynthia, Mosede. Yeah, Mosede name is here. Success, Faith, Kevin, Goodness, Adetola, Destiny, Arize. Yes, Arize name is here. You can save them into a name variable. But how do we declare a list? So these are we declare a list. We declare a list using this empty corridor. You can this is what starts a list. This is an empty list normally. There's no value inside. So if you use this square bracket, that is you declaring a list. So if I run this, if I declare a list inside empty, it can be anything. Doesn't mean the name has to be empty. Please, this is a variable name. There's no reserve word there. Doesn't mean if you name it something else, it will not work. Always know that anything that is before the equal to sign is a variable name. It's not constant. You can put anything you want to put. Okay. So if we have a list, empty list. So I want to find a type. What is the type of it? So I want you to understand that it will tell you that it's a list. So it's a class of a list. So this is an object. So the empty variable is an object of uh, of a class called list. We'll explain objects when we do OOP, especially. So let's say we enter all the values in a separate command. So these are all the values: 5, 7, 9. So we put them inside and we run it. So you can see that they are all coming, in the sequential order to which they've entered. We've put them. Same thing goes with the name. You can say the name, the same thing. So you are saying it horizontally, meaning it's appearing like this. It's appearing like this. Okay, horizontal. It's not vertical. It's not appearing the way this one is appearing. But I tell you the truth, when you start doing things like Panda series will change the game for you. Not by still appears like that, but the difference between list and not by that there's a lot to learn. So you will learn them, guys. The difference between list and numpy is that a numpy does not have comma. When you print numpy, it puts them. You will not. It doesn't separate them with comma, right? But it all does the same thing. You can even slice a list. Hey, I even forgot to tell you guys that you can slice a list. You can slice a list, meaning we can do something like this from V. If we say we want to bring let's say we want to slice that, we want to get just from here to 5.5. So this is the starting point. So we'll leave it space. You can do dot dot. Remember range that the last one is always excluded. So we'll do from dot dot. We can see from 0 to 4. So from 0 to 4 will give us a new list between 6 to 5.5. It will exclude 32 that we have updated in this code. It will exclude it. Remember range, when I say it excludes the last number each way. But if you're doing pandas and you are slicing with iloc does not exclude. That is for those who will be doing data analysis with Python. It doesn't exclude. Okay, so let's go back. So this is another example of um, a list with different value. So you can see it can take different value inside. Now, I want to so let's say we want to get access the list, the first item of a list. I told you can use 0 to access the first item of a list. So what is our list? Let me print the list out so that the student's name, student age is with us. So this is student age. So if we want to print the first item of the list, we use the index. You can see now I'm using the index as I told you. That's why I said that. That's why I said that somebody in my screen is showing scratch pattern. Are you sure? My screen is showing my screen now. One thing you guys should know is that I'm also watching this thing live on YouTube with you. So I'm seeing what I'm doing too. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. I have a dedicated screen watching this with you guys and seeing all your comments. So if we want to get the first item, so we run this to give us the first item. That's why we're saying 5. And then if we want to see the last item, normally in our list, what is the length? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is 10. Since it is 10, remember that the last index is always positive. Last index is always the total number, the length of a list minus 1, like we saw on the diagram I showed us. So this will always give us minus 1 as long as nothing change in the list. So it will always give us, sorry, this will always give us the last item as long as nothing change. But again, remember I said that we can always use, I think we don't need this. We can always use minus 1 to get, so I'll pick the student variable. So we can only use minus 1 to get the last item of a list, minus 1. So very, very important. It was so I'm so um, concerned about you understanding that it is comfortable to always use minus 1 to get the last item of your list. It's always comfortable. So how do we change a variable? So I'll just paste this my var because we declared it before so that you see it that in my var at the first place we have Emmy. So we want to change this Emmy to Moses. So Emmy, we want to change Emmy to Moses, and we want to change false. This is what we have in minus 1 to 0. So when we run this, you can see that Moses has changed to Emmy has changed to Moses, and false has changed to 0. So the next thing I want to talk about is slicing. I said you can slice a list.
So if you do something like this and you put column in your the square bracket, you are slicing a list. So you can determine how you want to slice it. I think I have other section that does that. Okay. But if there's none, let me just explain here. So let's say, like I was explaining, let's say I want to slice from, I want to just more like, you want to divide. Let's say I want to slice from 100 to 30 point stuff. I'm going to do one because that's the index of 100. So, and then I'm going to end at, this is one, two, three. I'm going to end at four. So 1 to 4. So you see that from 1 to 4, I have this. If I said, I want to slice, so I want to use 1, 2, 3, because that's where I want to slice to. If you put 3, you won't get the last item out. So don't forget, the last item is always what? Ignored. So ensure you always, if you want to get to 10, set your stop to be what? 11. So 4. Okay. And if I want to, what if I want to slice from the beginning to maybe from 1 to the end? I want to omit Moses 100. I want to do from Bola to the end. So from Bola to the end, it's more like that's 2. So I'm going to take the last one item. I'm not putting anything here. So because it's telling you that I'm going to the end. Okay. But what if I also want to do from, let's say, from Moses, which is the beginning, to Bola? So it's going to be from Moses, it's going to be nothing here. And I think Bola will be 4. Okay. So that will be 3. So this is how we slice from Moses to Bola. So these are the basic ways that you can slice your list. So I think I have something here. Search who you define. I don't need this. Maybe I use this for something. So you can check the length of a list using the length function. So we'll check our student names. Let me print that here so that I always like to print it so that you get to see what you have. So this is the student names. If you count it, there are 10. So once you use your length function, you length always tells you the total number of item in a list. So let's look at some list method. So what are methods? Like I think I've explained method before. That methods are more like functions that are attached to a class. Anyway, it's more like a function, but just that this one is attached to a class. So yes, that's a method. So you call it, all method, you call method using dots. After the name of the variable, you use dots. So once we do functions, you understand better. And once we do OP, you understand the difference between a function and a method. It's just the same thing. Just that one is standalone. A function is standalone. You can call it anywhere, it does what it wants to do. But when you want to call a method, you have to ensure that you have instantiated the object of that class to be able to use the method in that class. I know it's grammar I just spoke sharp, but that is it all. So our student name remains the same, which is almost ID and all of that. If you print it, we have everything. What if I want to now? First method we are looking at. Let me even list some of the method we are looking: append, extend, copy, pop, remove, short, sort, clear, count, insert. Now let me tell you the shortcut first of all to always get a method. The shortcut to always find methods that are attached to any object is that when you do something like maybe this is the name student underscore name, I'll do a dot. VS Code sometimes should show you. See, VS Code is showing me. You see, from here to here are all the methods inside a list. Append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, sort. Those are the you don't need to worry yourself about all of this. All of these are the functions within the method, but these are what you need to call. So you can only do any of this on a list. Okay, you can only do any of this on a list. Whatever is not here, you cannot do. So then you need to now understand what does append means, clear means. So append, let me just explain it all through. because I might not have that time to go through the code. So I'll explain it in case I don't finish it. You already know what I'm saying. So to append simply means to add a value to the end of a list. That's what append does, is that you're adding a value to the end of a list. Okay, so let me see, read more. So this append objects to the end of a list. Can you see? That's what append does. You're adding a value to the end of a list. Um, I was trying to see if I can get that same privilege of okay, I can have that. So clear. What does clear do? Clear. What clear says is that um you want to clear a value. That's what it does. It's just clear a value. You want to clear a value, all the values inside the list. Then you have copy. What copy does is that it returns a shadow copy of a list. If you want to copy a list, you use dot copy. Then the next thing is count. Count is that this thing is giving me joy, not giving me joy. So let me do it again. I like the way it's showing me so that I will just be explaining. So I think I was at count. So count is that it returns the number of occurrence of a value. So what count does is that if there are many values inside it, let's say there are, you want to count how many times a value inside a list is occurring. You understand, you pass in the name of the value. So you pass in the value. So whether it's a string or anything, just pass in the value. It will return an integer for you, which is the number of times that that value occurred. Okay. Copy too. We've done copy, we've done clear, we've done append. Now extend. Why append is to add an item to the end of a list. Extend the list by appending elements from the attribute. So extend is like you want to spread the number of values that you have on the list. Okay, it's not like you are adding it to the end. Okay, maybe you have another list and you want to add that other list to another list, and but you want it to ensure that the item in list B is spread across also in the item in list A or in list A. So you use extend. We see that. Then index is that you want to find which position a value is staying. So returns the position, the first index of that value. So if you have something like three appearing four times in your value, it will pick the first time you saw three inside that list and tell you what index it is. Insert is to insert a value inside a list, but use the index. Why append is adding at the end. With insert, you can decide where you want to put that value. You can say that value should stay at index 4, index 3, index 5. Now, pop is to remove the first occurrence of a value from a list. That is what you do with pop. Now, also pop gives you the ability to save whatever you are removing. Oh, I'm already talking about remove. Thank you. So pop removes and return an item of an index. It removes and return an item of an index. By default, if you just do a list.pop, it removes the last item. But if you want to pop out by the index, you want to pop a value. So you want to specify the index, you can do it using the pop function. But it will always return it. So that in case you want to save it somewhere, you can save it, but it will take it out of the list afterwards. Remove removes it entirely. Reverse is to reverse a list, especially when you have numbers. Sorry, guys. Let me pick my water. So when you have a list, all right, and you want to maybe you have numerical value and you want to reverse it, you can reverse that. Same way goes with sort. Sort can also do the same. Okay. So I think with this basic stuff, Seth, I've explained everything that has to do with the method in the list. So let's just see them in application. And I think I will not explain too much. I like the way I did it. So this is the name. Once you click on Grace, we've appended Grace on our list now. So once I click on the new list, you can see that Grace has been added. Before it was Arize that ended it. Now, Grace, our class rep, has been added. Funny enough, I didn't make this notes before knowing Grace. So, what if we say we want to append? This is a tuple anyway. So let me just change it. Like I want to append the list. We can also append the list inside the list. So if I run this and we come back here to print, I'll just I will not use the print function so that it will come like this. So you can see that it added the list at the end. But what about insert? What if I want to let me copy this? So yeah, I don't want the notes to be long, to be coming like this so that I can scroll. So what if I want to insert Michael now to position 4? At the beginning, we have John 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So Michael should come before Faith. That's what I'm doing by insert. So I run this. If I rerun this part, you can see that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Michael is not coming before Faith. That's what insert does. So let's say we have a given list. Again, I want to explain extend. Let's say we have a given list like this that you have Bright, David, Joy, and Gosway inside. But I want to extend this list, which is this student name, to into our student name entirely. I'll use the extend method. If I run it and then I print our list again, you will see that it will spread it. See that when we use append on a list, it appended the both of them in one. You can, if you check this thing like this, they're in one row, because if you see that it's only one comma after, if I highlighted it, I can say it's only one comma. They're separating them. This one, this comma you are saying here, this other one, this comma you are saying here is inside this list that we have appended. So it's not on the entire list. Okay, it's like a child list inside a list. Now, but when we extend a full list again, use extend, it separated each value individually inside the main list. So that's what extend does for you. But at the end of the day, everything still goes to the end. It's only insert that puts anything where you want it to be. So we know dot copy is to copy a list. So we want to copy a list, the all the student names that we have, want to copy to student names for. Now, the wrong way for you to do is that don't go and say something like this. And I say, I want to have everything here inside here. I want to say, okay, student 4 is equals to. If you do this thing like this, you are setting yourself for doom. Okay, don't do that. Or if you want to copy a list, always use dot copy. Because if you set it like that, what will happen to you is that anyway you make changes in one, it will affect the other one. But if you do it as dot copy, if you make changes in one, it does not affect the other. So great, we have copied students name 4. So let's do pop. Once we do dot pop, remember if I said if you don't put anything to pop out the last item. So Ghostway has been popped out from the class. So if I do, let me see if I have print here, print student name. If I scroll to the last, you see that it's Joy that is ending it. Compared to what we have here, where Gosway was the last. But you notice that when it popped it out, it gave us the attribute of, hey, I'm popping this thing out. So it means that I have the ability to save what was popped. So let's say I want to repop again. I click on pop. If I press last pop, you can see that last pop is Joy. If I come back to press our student, run this code to see our student name, you can see that David is not the last item. Joy has been popped out, but I have the value that it popped out saved for me in a variable called latest pop. So I can I can always go back to that place and see what was removed. That's pop for you. I hope you're still learning. So I know I have a few minutes. So let me finish this. So we can also pop by index, which is popping from the first item. If I come back here now and rerun this our list, you will see that John is no longer part of our list again because I've popped from the first item. So you can also pop by index. Great. I don't think we need this. I'll take this one off. So dot remove. Okay. If you want to remove, you pass in the name of what you want to remove, not the index. So if you want to remove, you pass in remove. That's the value you want to remove. So I want to remove almost a day from the class. Let's say almost a day pipe. Although today is our birthday, so we'll run this and then we remove almost a day. So if I do print student name, you find out that almost a day was appearing after Cynthia. Omosede has been removed. Now, one thing about remove is that if I have double Omosede inside my list, it's going to take only the first occurrence of it. It's going to remove the first occurrence of it. But you can also use the there keyword to remove value from your list. The there can work. So you just do there, the student name and the index of what you want to delete. So let's say I want to delete value in index 11. I'll paste it here. So we can find the value in index 11 and you notice that it has been removed. So let's look from I, which value, it was bright that was at index 11. Bright has been removed. And you can use if I do something like this and I don't want to do it. If I do their students, when you do something like this, the name of your list, and you put this your square bracket and you put only column inside, you are saying everything inside that list. So if I do their student names like this now, it's going to clear all the items inside this list. This and this other function, they work the same. Okay, they work the same. So both of them will clear the value inside our student function. But let's say I want to delete more than one now. Why I like the def function is that what if I want to delete from, let's say I want to delete from Grace, let's delete from Grace to David. So what is the index of Grace? Let's find the index of Grace. To find the index of Grace, we'll do student name dot index. Let's pass in Grace, for example, and run it. You can see that easily. I just found out that where Grace, the index for Grace is 9. So I'll come here and say I want to delete from 9 to the end. So we run this awesome. So if I print students' names now, you see that Grace from Grace downward has been removed. So that's how you can delete multiple stuff at a time from a list out if you don't want it. Use the there keyword. You can't do that with pop, you can't do that with remove, but you can do that with there. Then to clear the list, let's just clear everything. We use dot clears everything off. So if we print something, there's nothing on our list again. So we can also do that using, the delete everything off. So I have another list again. I think I recreated this list because I want to explain something beneath. Let me see. Okay, I want to explain count. So I'll delete this. So I will run this to get our student name back. So what if I want to count the number of times almost a day showed on our, so how many times we have almost a day? Almost a day is here, almost a day is here. So it's double. So what if we do almost a day dot count? We're going to get 2. So it was twice almost a day appeared on our list. So I think we've done this assessment. Let me say write a Python to duplicate. This is an assessment I'm going to give you guys. Or I think we've done all of these things I have here. So I'm going to just delete this. Now let's come to sort because I need to show you guys how to sort a list. So let's say we have a new different list now. I think we have a list called student name. So let me just type student age, for example. We have a list called student age. Great. So I think I will just use student age for this. So let's say we want to sort student age. These are student age. We want to sort it. Control Z. We want to sort it. So if I put Control V to put the student age. So by the time we sort it, you can see that it has sorted it from the lowest to the highest. That's dot sort. That's what dot sort does. I think we can also do dot reverse. Let me copy everything here and say dot reverse. Okay, dot reverse. Great. So let's say we want to reverse. That's another function. Reverse a list. You reverse the list using the reverse method. So let's say reverse a list. So if we do the reverse, you can see that we have reversed it to, oh, sorry, I need to reverse it again. Now, but one thing I want you to understand is that once you do dot sort and you sort your list like this, it changes the original list. Though. Once you say dot sort, it goes to your main list and change everything inside. Okay, it will sort your original list for you. If you do dot reverse, it will reverse the original list. Okay, but Python has a function called sorted. Now, sorted function, what sorted function does is that it will resort your list, but it's not going to update the original one. It's going to resort your list and return a resorted list for you so that you can save in a variable and use, but leave your list the way it was before. That is how sorted function work. And I want you guys to understand that. So let's say we have this variable called var1 now, for example, is this, and we want to sort var1. Okay. So I will cut this one out here and run this code. So we have sorted var1. You can see I printed the sorted of var1. But if I come back and say, what is my var1 now? You see that my var1 still remains the same. Okay. But I've already sorted it by saved the value into a variable. But if you use dot sort in this place, my dear, it's going to override what it will just resort this thing, override it. So I want you guys to take note of that. And that same also work on on reverse. Okay, that same work on reverse. Now, reverse is the same thing. Reverse underscore, see, list. Reverse is the same thing as using dot sort, sorted function, but you pass a parameter called that you want to reverse it. See the difference? Let me show you guys. When I did sorted before, when I called the sorted function, okay, you can see inside that function, they told you put your list, and then you can decide to set that reverse is either false or true. So if you don't set anything by default, reverse is set to be false. So it will just sort it from the lowest to the highest. But you can decide to say that you want to say reverse is equals to true, so that it reverse it and sort it from the highest to the lowest. So in other words, again, after that, you find out that our list still remains the same. So I think with this viewpoint of mine, I have taught us everything that we need to know, because I've taught us extend everything we need to know about a list. I've taught you guys everything you need to know about a list. Everything. I've taught you copy. So I'm just taking this off. I've taught you pop. So I'm updating my sheets. Yep, 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 yep. I've taught you all of these, all of these, all of these, all of this. At what point did I know I'm done with this thing? Ah, my. So guys, we are done with everything that has to do with lists. Okay, so the next thing we might want to look at is list comprehension, but we don't have enough time to check it in today's class. So we'll begin from tomorrow. We'll look at what it means to define a list comprehension, and after that we come to tuple. Oh, or let's just do this. Let's do it, please. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Let's do list comprehension. So what is list comprehension? Okay, so list comprehension is it's one of the ways we can easily create a list on one line. Okay, one of the ways we can easily create a list on one line. So what it means is that you can decide to say, let's say I want to create even numbers now. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is it. This is it. Let me run it. Let me explain it. So this is an empty list we want to create. We create an empty list called even numbers. Okay, we set it an even as an empty list. Then we're going to say, okay, we want to find all the even numbers that we have between 0 to 20. Remember our range function. So this will be 0 to 19 literally, because we are doing 20. So it's going to start 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 down to 19. The last number is always excluded. So we are running a loop. So for s, remember s now is our temporary variable. It's like our fetcher that our loop is using to pick values. So from s in range 20, we'll now run an if condition. If s is not equal to 0, because we don't want to say that 0 is an even number. So if s is not equal to 0, and remember now, you see that we are now using what we learned, relational operators, logical operator, and s modulus 2. Remember modulus that we did in the first class when we are talking about operators? That modulus is that it gives you the reminder after any division. So if s is not greater than, is not equal to 0, and s divided by 2, that's the modulus of s and 2, is equal to 0, it means that that s is an even number. So if the number is not equal to 0, and if you divide the number by 2, it's the remainder is equal to 0. So we can say that that s is what is an even number. So what we are now doing next is that append. Remember, you see append is coming out. Append that value of s to our empty, to our list that we created before, which was empty. So it's going to, this is going to run. It's going to loop through. I remember as he's appending it, append is at the last part. So he's going to do the first time. Append. If you append the value, it will stay here. If you come again to append, so the last value it keeps, the once it continues to append, everything stays at the end of the list, at the end of the list until the loop stops. So let's run it. Great, we are done running it. So if you do print even numbers, so the first part was 2, so it will append 2 first. It did again, did all this condition. The next part was 4, it appended 4, 6, 8. You see that it's skipping number like 3, 5, 7, because those numbers are not even numbers. 13, 14, 13 was skipped, 14, and all of that. It skipped 19 because 19 did not pass this condition, so it stops. So what was the first number that entered? 2. When it ran again, it appended the next number, 4. Ran again, appended the next number, 6. That's how append works. Fantastic, we've gotten even numbers. But what if you want to do this entire stuff that we just did in how many lines like this? We want to do it in a short line. That is what we call list comprehension. I still want to use even numbers. So I don't know why I have odd numbers here. What was I thinking? This should be even now. Oh, guys, is it not even numbers again? Or have I forgotten what the definition of even numbers? Right? Remind me in case I've forgotten it all. I say my append method is printing multiple times. Once in my output. What have you done? What have you done that your append method is printing multiple times? Once in your output. Sometimes check your code very well. All right. So, guys, can you still remember? So, you can see that what we did in this list comprehension is that it's the same condition, it's the same, all this stuff in this for loop, but we are expressing it in one line. So, S here stands for our what the result we are returning, which is this append S we're doing before. That's what S is standing for. Okay, S remains here. Then we are not saying, we are not running our for loop now. For S in range 20, if this is our condition now, if s is not equal to 0 and s modulus 2 is equal to 0, so this is all the basic stuff that we ran at the top here. Remember that we ran here, but then at the end of the day we are not saying put the value, whatever you get here, put the value as s. So there's no need to say append again. We just set it with open a square bracket. Our for loop, always remember that the for loop comes last. The for loop and your condition comes last. But the first thing that comes is the value that you are saving, which is s. So I'll run this. And by the time I print our even numbers again, it's the same thing. See, it's the same thing. So if I change this to, like, let's say change this to even numbers between to 25, and I run it. If I print it, it's the same. See, it has added. Same way if I go back here and change it to 25 and I run it. So rather than you running if this entire stuff in multiple, create an empty list, come and do loop and just create it once. This is what we call list comprehension. And let me tell you the truth, list comprehension is very applicable. Very applicable. I use it sometimes a lot. When I want to do something, I'll just create it in one line. No need to be. And that's how you also know that you understand the concept of Python coding when you do this comprehension. Okay, when we do dictionary, we also have dictionary comprehension too. We'll look at that. But list comprehension is very, very important. Okay. So with these guys, the next thing we are coming to is tuple. We'll do that in our next class, which is tomorrow. Tuple is very, very fast, so we'll be fast with tuple. And maybe when we are done with tuple self, we'll start with set. So tuple and set together. And Thursday, on Tuesday, tuple and set. Tomorrow, on Thursday, we'll do dictionaries. On Saturday, on Friday, on Wednesday, we'll do dictionaries. Then Thursday, we'll start doing something else from there. So by Wednesday, we should be done with our data uh, um, structure. Okay, so I think I've reused the 5 minutes back that I used in doing my acquire to inspire and everything quote at the beginning of the class. I guess you guys learned something new. So let's go to the Slack channel. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give an additional um, opportunity for those who have not submitted week one assignment. I want you to submit that before 12 p.m. West African time tomorrow. Okay, so that you don't nobody have an excuse. For me to be repeating this, I will close by saying there's a saying that goes, "Who laugh last, laugh the best." So please don't let me at the end of the cohort begins to remind you that I said this thing during the training, that who laugh last, laugh the best. This is me laughing last now. Don't be in that position. So ensure you do your assignment. Because somebody will say, they threaten us. I'm threatening you because by the time you don't do it and you see the implication of you not doing it, when you start crying, I will give you a deaf ear. I will not listen to you. That's the idea. I will give you a deaf ear and I will not listen to you. I don't like when you are learning and you the basic thing you should do, you don't do it and you start crying. I don't like it. You understand? When you have the opportunity to learn, just go and learn. And if they tell you climb mountain as your assignment, go and climb the mountain. Let everybody know you are learning. That's the sacrifice you are paying. Not when you will not do something, you'll be lazy in doing you're not doing your work. Very lazy. At the end of the day, when you see the complication of it, you start looking for who to cry to. Nobody is giving you bed to come and a rose of bed to come and be lying down and be petting you. If you are not ready, you are not ready. So I know what I'm saying because I know a time will come when some people they will not talk now, they will be keeping quiet. When Arma will hit them, they will start looking for hey instructor God's gift, coach God's gift. See, my DM is far from you. My DM is far from you. I'm telling you the truth. Okay? So please do your assessment very, very well. I know you are watching this, you are going to be watching this video and you are laughing as I'm saying this thing. Remember what I said, who laugh last, laugh the best. So we'll call it a day. Let's enjoy our night and let's catch up on the on the Slack channel. Today now that I gave everybody back to back. All right, guys. It's my passion. I'm just passionate about this thing. So I see you. Oh, let me stop sharing my entire screen. Good. Bye, guys. So you can ask your question rather on the Slack channel, please. Drop a question on the Slack channel. Thank you.